What's up, everybody? Cole here. Hope you're all having a great day. I wanted to hop on and talk about a couple of observations I've had over the past week. So let's get into it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was hunger, the feeling of hunger. At least for me, in my experience, it doesn't seem to get any worse the longer that I fast, which sounds a bit weird if you've never done it before, but for instance, like hour 5 hunger is feels exactly the same as it does at the very end of my fast at hour 36 or whatever. It's not any more intense. It doesn't get worse. You still get hunger pangs periodically, as you do, as you would expect, but they typically go away after 20 minutes or so, especially if you drink some water. It really seems to make it go away. But they don't actually get any worse for me. And I think that's just how hunger works from what I've seen, as far as researching. The feeling of a hunger pain is coming from a hormone called ghrelin, which your body produces to say, hey, I'm hungry, whatever. I don't exactly know the whole science behind it, but it just doesn't seem to get any more intense for me, which is a really good thing. In my experience, fasting for 36 hours can seem a little bit scary, especially if you've never done anything like it before, if you've never had any kind of fasting experience. 36 hours seems like forever, obviously. And it's not easy by any means, don't get me wrong. It definitely takes a little bit of dedication to get used to, but the hunger itself just doesn't get any more intense, which is great. So just if it's something you're considering doing, keep that in mind. The hunger is just not any worse. Something else I wanted to talk about was staying busy, especially on a day like today. It's the weekend for me. It's a fast day. So staying busy really makes it a heck of a lot easier. If I was sitting at home, inside kind of chilling all day, it would be a lot harder for me to complete a full fast than it has been, just because I've been up and at it today. I've been outside, staying busy, cutting grass, doing yard work, chores, that kind of thing. The things you typically do on the weekend. And it really helps a lot. It helps keep my mind, from thinking about food. I really recommend staying busy on a fast day for sure. At least for me, it helps a lot. Something else I wanted to mention was water intake. So earlier this week, I think it was my last fast day, which would have been Friday. I really didn't drink enough water, not as much as I typically do. And this can be a bit of a difficulty for me at work, especially if I'm busy, just kind of forget. And not drinking enough water really kind of sets you up for a really tough fast day. Not having that water to kind of fill you up. Plus your body's made out of mostly water anyway, so you need it, especially when you're fasting. You'd be surprised how much water is in your food. So if you're not eating all day, then you've got to, really kick it up with the water, no doubt about it. Me personally, I drink either plain water, obviously, or I'll put in some electrolyte mix that I have. It's just a 0-calorie thing. There's a couple different ones that I've used. I've used Propel and I think it's called Element. I'll pop those up on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. But those tend to help me out a lot. I have 1 or 2 of those during the day in my water, just to give it something, flavor-wise. It helps a lot. So something else I'd recommend for sure. And kind of the last thing I want to mention for today is focused on your eating days, or on my eating day. I haven't really been eating as much as I want to, which is, I don't know, seems kind of counterproductive. You know, you would think it would be, at least in my head, I would think it would be a good thing to not eat as much, to not be as hungry. But on an eat day, you know, I really gotta kind of replenish, and it's kind of hard to switch my mind back from fasting to a feast day, and really, you know, intake enough calories to justify what I'm doing. So I've had a couple days this past week on my eat day where I know for a fact that I have not eaten as many calories as I probably should. So that's something I definitely got to work on next week, is just taking in more calories on my eat day, and maybe finding some other things that I could actually use for meals, or things to snack on or whatever. Especially at work, like I said, I tend to get busy, so I don't drink enough water, and I typically don't eat much when I'm at the office. So definitely something I got to work on. If you have any recommendations as far as like snacks or lunch, you know, things that are good for me, obviously, but that would help me out on my eat day, I would really appreciate any feedback. I also plan on kind of showing you guys what I eat for an entire day. I'm going to actually make that video tomorrow, so hopefully that'll be up shortly after this one. If you're watching this one, you know, right when it goes live. If not, it should already be on the channel. So I'm really looking forward to making that one. I think it'll be a fun one for sure. I think that's really going to wrap it up for me today. The only other thing I really wanted to mention was consistency is really what I've tried to push this week. I haven't had any hiccups this week as far as breaking my fast earlier or anything, which is great. I'm really proud about that. Not to say it won't happen, of course, but when it does happen, I want to make sure that I'm focused on picking back up and just moving on to the next day, because obviously messing up one day isn't going to change much in the grand scheme of things. But if you let that derail you and just completely take you off track, that's where the issue is. And that's what's happened to me in the past, is messing up on a day and just kind of saying forget it. So I've really been trying to focus on consistency this week, and it's been good. As far as the fast days themselves, they really haven't been too bad. Like I said, the only issue I think I've had is just not having enough water on the fast day. So I got to work on that for sure. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you sticking around to hear me yap for a little while. So yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for me today. I do plan on making another video coming up shortly after my eating video. And that'll be kind of a week recap to see how much weight I've lost this past week. So far it's been good, so I hope you guys will stay tuned and check out that one as well. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today, so I will catch you on the next one. See ya.